Hello, hello, hello. Can you all hear me? Hello, this is your African diaspora teacher coming to you, beautiful people, patriots, and Pan-Africanists all across the globe, home and abroad. What is trending? The coup in Guinea is trending, and then we're gonna bring you analysis of the analysts. So here I am. I'm going to analyze the analysts because when the analysts, so-called analysts, are giving out figures and making their rounds, they speak on the issue the way they want them to analyze them. They are looking through the eyes of CNN and co. So most of their analysis are not strong enough because they have to, stick to code. To continue, I'm going to paraphrase a statement made by the present president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, about how we literally walk on gold and diamond, but we poor, we're hungry, dejected. So he said it in a local language, and I quote, not very good in Akan language, but this is how he put it, quote, "Inam sikasu susu ye bread," unquote, meaning in Ghana, on a shpon ni bi hro, shpon, but still homo yewo. Or maybe in Eve, I would say that nye shika kple jagba kple klosalo jizon gake edomiawu. On here shikpon ni bi sroto ye shikpon mi mon homo yewo wo pin. Yeah, literally, we're working on gold and diamond and silver and copper, uranium, but we are hungry. The whole coup, it's about resources in Africa that is been making life beautiful outside where we want to go, but we could get cut short in Libya, sold in Libya as slaves, get whipped in Tunisia, and get killed in the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is the most submarine mined sea around Europe. Again, the Mediterranean is the most submarine mined. A lot of submarines under the Mediterranean, and each vessel carrying migrants, whether they are from Africa or from Middle East, crossing to wherever, Spain or wherever they want to go, Italy or Greece, is being torpedoed by submarines under. Nobody will tell you that. And then they rush to come and save you, and they make sure 80% perished, and they will save 20% if you're lucky. Okay, so it's all about mineral resources in Africa where the people are not getting the benefit of these resources, but it's making life somewhere like those cities with so much lights that you could see them across the Mediterranean. When you were in Tripoli, you could see Paris lighting up in the night. You could see Spain lighting up. You could see Italy far off lighting up when you are on the continent of Africa. What is lighting them up? The way they are being lighted up. Some people say you could see a whole city of Paris in space, and you could see the whole Africa being dark from space. The uranium of Niger, the uranium of Niger, the uranium of Niger is what lighting up Europe. Let me give you these stats. The analysts are saying the production of uranium from Niger constitute only 4% of world's production. It's a damn lie. Then they go and said 15% of the consumption of uranium in France for their lights, their bombs, their ammunitions, and everything is coming from Niger. 15% is what Niger gives, or 15% of France's consumption comes from Niger, which is a damn lie because they're stealing. How could you be stealing something for free? Killing president, toppling presidents, putting your puppets into leadership in Niger, because it wasn't too far ago when I heard that the managing director or one of the higher ups in the uranium mining company in Niger has been handpicked to be in a leadership position in Niger. So a link between the uranium exploration and plant company or mining company is within. So the proper money that's supposed to be paid by France to Niger is still being compromised, because if such a person who had been in the leadership of the mining company for so long is being now promoted to be in the leadership of the political leadership of the country, nothing's going to change, right? So how do we have to believe that the consumption of uranium in France, 15%, it's only 15% is coming from Niger, and then France is going to buy the remaining 85% with hard currency in the world market? No, we're not stupid, but they think we are. Then Niger provide 20% of their uranium, or 20% of the uranium consumed by entire Europe minus France is 20%. You see. So the consumption of uranium for the whole Europe, for their lights, everything, energy, generating of energy, ammunition, nuclear bombs, and so on and so forth, 20%, the whole of out of 100% for Europe, 20% is coming from Niger. So when you add the 15% from the so-called 15% and the 20% of Europe, 15% of France, and 20%, that means the entire Europe is consuming 45, or they are out of 100%, 35% of their total consumption is coming from Niger. I doubt that, but again, let's hear from the horse's mouth and let's work with those numbers. Okay, so let's hear from the horse's mouth.
A perplexing claim on the part of General Gianni.
And could you talk to us about this rising presence of not only U.S. forces, but also other European troops in the country? Most Americans are not aware of this growing U.S. military presence in Africa.
Not at all. I was there in January, actually, and it was just shocking to me when I was in the airport how many foreigners I was seeing moving in and out of the country, which is a first for me in many years in West Africa.
Okay, now before we get to the figures, there is something in that statement that this one good analyst, university professor who also double up as a, a researcher, or we could see CIA, young lady, who happened to go over there and document what's going on over there. The U.S. do not want to be seen in Niger. It's like you love a woman so much, but you don't want nobody to see that you are courting the woman, or you are, sleeping with the woman. So you go there in the night, to sleep with this woman. Okay, because the U.S. the U.S. does not want to let black people know that they are in a country where they say is poor. They don't want to associate publicly with Niger, but they're there. They're there.
So over 1,000 U.S. service personnel are in Niger, but lots of other countries are also there. France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, Canada at times has provided assistance. And a lot of these Western powers are really saw Niger as a this kind of stable democracy, and we're pouring security assistance, that is funding for military and police efforts, training efforts, a lot of weapons sales as well from the U.S. And elsewhere. So they're pouring all this security assistance to kind of bolster this so-called democracy, the
look at that bullshit. Democracy, bolstering democracy. You see, how many countries are in this Niger, which is supposed to be poor? The U.S. is there, France is there, Germany is there. She mentioned them. Italy is there, Belgium is there, and Canada. 6 nations. Maybe Australia, maybe Sweden, So what these people are now doing, let me analyze the whole thing for you. Back in the days of colonies, they divided this Africa into 54 nations, where one country take a chunk, like Belgium, to the crazy Leopold, the pedophile, crazy maniac, demon, devilish incarnate called Leopold. He got one Congo for himself. Togo for France, Senegal for France, Gold Coast for, Now, they're not doing that. In a new colonial dispensation, in the new colonial dispensation, they will take one country, create a Boko Haram, ISIS, whatever you want to call it, a terror, and then they will come en masse. Not again like France will invite them and give them some sub, and they will pay France. Okay, if it's Ghana or Nigeria, England will bring in France, other people, and they are selling us. England will sell sub to other nations, so that they all, they will create Boko Haram, and then say they are coming to help, and they will come again as a group to start finishing you off. This is what they're doing. Just think about it. They don't want to fight over it. They will come, because it is through CNN when 2017 4 U.S. men were killed in Niger. it was hush hush. The U.S. don't even want anybody to know that they were killed in Niger because it was too much. Niger, poor country. What is the U.S. of all places? U.S. Army, knight in shining armor. What are they doing? Our U.S. Army, what is it doing in Niger? And when I was trying to see whether they could even show anything resembling civilization, do you know where they go? A farming cottage somewhere with mud house to go and ask this farmer. That is the only thing they show about Niger in the whole 4 people killed, 4 U.S. men who were killed by so-called terrorists. The only thing, they didn't even show the city of Niamey. It was a hut, a farming hut, and that's supposed to be Africa. And what they were doing over there, nobody knew about it. That was your Obama time, Maybe Obama or maybe Trump. I don't know. They were there before Trump came, so don't put anything on Trump over here. They were there by Obama. Obama, if they could be there before Obama came, and they were there throughout Obama, and Trump inherited it was 2017. Okay, 2017. Yeah, when Trump is in office. But it has nothing to do with Trump. I'm not here for Republican or Democrats. But they didn't tell the U.S. people, as this lady is saying, over 1,000 of them over there, a drone brigade, a whole drone brigade for AFRICOM is instituted over there, but it's kept hush hush. Okay, and 6 other nations are there. I don't think the Canadian people knew about Canada being there. I'm not sure even Italians knew about Italy being there. I'm not sure whether Germans knew about Germany being there. I'm not even sure if Belgians knew if Belgians are there. 6 nations so far. Doing what? Fighting Boko Haram for all these years, and they couldn't finish it up. Listen.
Went to Agadez to see the U.S. installation, the air base there. So it was $100 million where the U.S. spent on building this air base. It costs about $30 million a year to maintain. And it is a massive, sophisticated installation in the Sahara Desert. And the drones there, the U.S. drones, are being used in the U.S. counterterror operations, what we call the post 9/11 wars, in the surrounding desert area. So here it's strategically located in the middle of Algeria, Libya, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Nigeria, Chad, that whole belt where we've seen this kind of growing unrest. The U.S. is right there conducting these, real operations. U.S. is also located at a couple of other bases in Niger in different parts of the country, with special operations forces, trainers that go in and out. So there's far more people actually than those official 1,000 troops. There's lots of people going in and out who are on short stays, and those don't even count towards the totals.
Could you all hear that? Could you all hear that? You could play it back and listen. Because I played several times. You could also do the same thing. Okay? You could also do the same thing. Could you all hear that? More than the 1,000 people. A lot of people come because there's so much money to be made. Nobody wastes time traveling to a desert. No high profile, apart from the soldiers who have a job to do because your country will send you over there. They have nothing, they have no personal interest in this because the military sent them over there. But she is saying, apart from the soldiers who Call of Duty sent them over there, probably against some of their will, because the black people over there in the military, some of them, they are woke and they know what's going on. Just as the soldiers, the military men in the country where all these operations have been being staged, where the commander-in-chief, who's supposed to be the president of these countries, knew that what they're doing is wrong. But again, the commander-in-chief of these countries, Mali, Burkina, Niger, Guinea, all these places, blackmailing their own military. I'm calling it blackmailing, because every military man swear an oath to defend the integrity of their country. This is where it's so sad to me. You see, the military men swear an oath that they're gonna, against any aggression. That is all these soldiers swear an oath for. I'm gonna uphold the Constitution, and I'm gonna protect the integrity of my country, and I swear an oath that I'm gonna do it with my life. But now the aggression is coming. All these commander-in-chief, so-called, who are the presidents of these nations, refuse to supply essential equipment to their own military to fight the so-called and imaginary Boko Haram. This is sad. So every day they shine their boots, they iron their uniform, put on their uniform like a knight in a shining armor, and do nothing, and just hear from their own TV how the French are fighting Boko Haram. For 12 years, they could not defeat Boko Haram. They're supposed to be the one that come from outside, have all the technology, knew how to fight. And the Africans who swear, take an oath that they're going to provide, they're going to protect their own country, sitting in barracks, doing nothing. And the so-called commander-in-chief is overseeing them. Meanwhile, other people, the French cannot do it, so the Canadians have to come. The Canadians cannot do it together with the French, so the Belgians have to come. The Belgians and the Canadian and the French could not do it, so the US have to come. The US and the Canadian and the and the French and the Belgian could not do it, so Italy has to come. Even Sweden was there in Mali. Sweden, Denmark was there. Doing what? Fighting Boko Haram. But the real military of the nation of Mali could not fight it. The real military of Burkina Faso is not fighting it. Or you people are not qualified to fight this war. You have to take white people, white so-called pink people to come and fight the war. So these gallant soldiers wake up every day, tell their wives, look at their wife in the face and say, we're going to barracks. And then when they come back from barracks, guess what? It's on the TV that Boko Haram just attacked or just kidnapped children. And the children will ask their father, what's going on? They can't say anything. They cannot say anything because they don't know what's going on. That is blackmailing. You see, it's like you, the father of a house. Your hands are tied where neighborhood hooligans come through your house, molest your children and your wife, but everybody's telling you cannot fight them. And another man come, if you can't fight this, then your neighbor comes in and say, I'll give you a helping hand to fight the hooligans, the neighborhood hooligans who are terrorizing your wife and children, tempting them to a rape. And somebody say, you cannot fight. The king of your village say, you cannot fight because you're too strong to fight. This is not your fight. Whose fight? So the next thing you're going to do is remove the king so that you could fight. You see, this blackmailing. You see? So everybody is coming. Every country from Europe is coming after an imaginary Boko Haram. Nigeria, 270 something children kidnapped, and Nigeria could not fight. The giant of Africa could not fight. And Buhari sitting down from Goodluck Jonathan to Buhari. 10 years each. 20 years. We could not fight Boko Haram. Nigeria could not fight it. Even France have to come to Nigeria. The US have to come to Nigeria. Everybody have to come to Nigeria to fight Boko Haram. Nigeria could not fight it. No, ask Malarat. Ask Malarat. Now let's go back to uranium. Let's go back to uranium. What are the numbers? What are the numbers? How do you know? What are the numbers? The numbers are here. About uranium. About uranium.
Bush administration manipulate intelligence about Saddam Hussein's weapons programs to justify an invasion of Iraq. The piece was headlined, "What I Didn't Find in Africa," and he's talking about uranium in Niger. So if you can address all of those things.
That's right. Uranium is a big, so Niger is the 6th or 7th largest uranium producer in the world. This is certainly a dynamic of the conflict. When I visited Africa last year. It's the head of U.S. Military Africa Command, and there is a lot of talk of not just the uranium in Niger, but all of this region's resources, natural resources, because there are many other types of mining going on in this area. It's very rich in terms of some of these the resources that go into.
Okay, keep that word that you just heard in your mind, rich. But at the same time, this woman who is saying everything is rich over there will later on tell you how poor Niger is. You see. So listen to the words. They throw this word when it favors them, it's rich. When they are exploiting it for all their new technologies where they could make huge money. And know that CIA is not for the government of America. CIA is actually the arm wing boogeyman of Wall Street. Wall Street is where all these rich resources she's talking about is traded. The CIA has nothing to do with the U.S. government. It's not funded by the U.S. government. It's funded by Wall Street capitalists who put on the CIA together. So its job is to make sure that they have cheap but rich resources, free resources that could make the money, and so that they could trade it on Wall Street. So CIA's job is to make sure that the trade is not interrupted. The trade is not interrupted. What makes the trade? Cheap resources, stolen resources from Africa, stolen resources. How would you steal it? How can you steal it? You have to put your own people over there or kill a president or take out a president that will demand world market price for these resources, or you put a Mobutu. Yeah, we're going to call them Mobutu. You have to put a Mobutu over there so that the Mobutu will take a crumb in billions of dollars. Crumb, because what is being traded is in thousands of, in trillions, hundreds of billions. And if a Mobutu could get a 2 billion out of 500 billion, Mobutu is just happy. So they'll put a Mobutu over there, and Mobutu will take a cut of 1 billion every 5 years, or every 1 year, take a billion. While, meanwhile, 500 billion is being extracted. Okay. Dr. Arikana reminded us that France is taking 500 billion a year. And there are Mobutus in in her colonies in Africa taking half a billion, half a billion is a lot of money. That's 500 million every year. So when France take 500 billion a year, 1 billion is distributed to all the 14 Mobutus in place. France is still taking a chunk of money. The Mobutus take a crumb. France take the criminal organization called France take not the lion's share, the elephant share.
A lot of them, a lot of important cell phones and other kinds of things like that. So there's a talk of the need to provide stability and stable governance in this area because of all these natural resources. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing such a big outcry against this coup in Niger at this particular moment, because there is talk of sanctions against Russian uranium, and so this uranium has actually become a really important global source. So that's one answer to your question. The other about General Barmou. So he.
No, we're talking about General Barmou here. So let's go now. Yeah, well, before we thought we poor because it's been drummed in our mind. Some of us. It's been drummed in our mind that we're poor. And now the whole world we've woken up. The new generation of Africans have woken up that it is our resources running the world. We are the World Bank. As a matter of fact, I tell my friends and everybody that I could speak to that Africa is the underwriter. Underwriter is a big insurance company or a big investment bank. Underwriter. You see, underwriter is an investment bank, big, mega investment, but that underwrite big projects. Africa is the underwriter of the whole entire planet Earth industrial investor. But it has been played in our mind in the reverse that we need investors coming from some coal places to come and invest in Africa. Meanwhile, we are the investor that is investing in every economy except our own economy. You see, that is what has making this. Now that we realize that, we ain't stopping. We're not going to keep quiet. Especially when Mama Dr. Arikana had set us up. Her children are going to war now. That France is the one stealing us dry. Since we heard that, a lot of presidents had knew this, but they didn't have the blockade. They did not have the testicular fortitude to speak it out. So when Mama said that, hey, this is what's going on, special signatory to independence, that when I get my independence, my money is going to be kept in your treasury and you could trade with it. You don't even have to tell me how much you're making on my money. And if I have to come and borrow that money, I have to make write an application and tell you what I'm going to use the money for. You could deny or not deny me, and you could give this money back to me at a market price, and the interest, I have nothing to do with it. Since Mama said those things, the older generation, they know it, so they were just they almost froze to death when all these informations are coming. But the new generation say no, we can't be going to if this is what's going on, then our money develop Europe. And if we want to go to Europe and even go and toil, and we've been killed in Libya, we've been sold as slaves in the desert, we've been, killed in Tunisia. And finally, when we make it on sea, the submarine torpedoed the ship and we could get killed, murdered, sunk in the Mediterranean Sea. And when we made it to Europe, it's not easy. We have no place to sleep. So these people are saying, no way, no more. The flow of resources going north, it's over. No. We can be blackmailed to be thinking of ourselves as being poor. These are what the young children are saying. And these young people who are now in position in the army, majority in the army, because every day I get older, they get stronger. Every day, all these dinosaurs, all these 70-year-old leaders, you're getting weaker. In the military, your general, the brigadiers, you're getting older, and these ones are coming, they're strong. They have nothing to lose. Stand up and fight back. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose, to lose, to lose, to lose, to lose. Stand up and fight back. You got nothing to lose. That's Jimmy Cliff. You see, a person who has nothing to lose is ready to fight. You see? You see? And that war is being prophesied by Haile Selassie. We Africans will fight. We find it necessary. We know we shall win as we are confident in a victory of good over what? Evil. We Africans, we fight. We find it necessary. We know we shall win as we are confident in the victory of good over evil. You see, it has been prophesied. Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, there shall be war. Rumors of war. Because these white supremacists had been franchised to our African leaders. They are the minor whites among us. And what that means, I don't know. Because nobody is white. This is white. But the illusion, delusional mentality of Europeans thinking they're white, and therefore somebody is black and that person black supposed to be underneath them, has been sold to our elites who think if they could speak good French and good English, they are a second-class white, and therefore they are better than every black person. So, until the color of a man's skin it has no more significance than the color of his eye. That mentality, that ideology, that toxic, stupid, backward, primitive mentality is what making our leaders to believe in this nonsense. So when they ask them to jump, they want to jump. So now they want to go attack. But when Boko Haram was terrorizing the neighborhood, they couldn't put a united ECOWAS force together to fight it. Nigeria could not do it. None of them could do it. But when it comes to Niger, they are ready to go and shed blood to satisfy the population control freaks, because a lot of people is gonna be dead. We couldn't unanimously put arms together, forces together, boots on the ground unanimously from every country to fight Boko Haram. We invited US, France, Germany, Italy, Belgium, Canada, Australia, Sweden, Denmark to come and fight that war for us. But when they say go and fight your own brother for some democracy, unanimously you want to put forces together to go spill blood. You go spill the blood. Let me show you what you are fighting against. Let me show you what you guys going to be fighting against. You look at this map. That's West Africa. You see? You see? I'm going to show you better. That is Guinea right there. You see Guinea, that's the green one over there. You see, the border to Mali. You see, and that is Burkina Faso over there, and that is Niger over there. You see, these people don't even watch the map of what is going on before they agree that they're going to go and fight. Put it over here better. The Gambian leader, president, was in the crowd looking like he's lost. The Gambian leader, I saw him, he was just like, where I am. Because these are not tacticians. Okay, look at the map. That is West Africa, right? That is Nigeria. That is Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. You see, that is Guinea right there. That is a port in Guinea. Okay, this is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Okay, can you see? That's, that is the Mediterranean Sea right there. Okay, that is Algeria right there. Morocco. Okay, Mauritania. Okay, Senegal, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia. So see, there's a sea over there. So all this nonsense that there's going to be no flying zone, no this. Okay, that means if a flight is coming through here, you can and want to go to Mali or going to Niger, you can say no. But a flight can pass through here, through Guinea to Niger, and you cannot stop it. And any flow of goods can come through Guinea. It has a port through here to Burkina Faso, to Mali, to Niger. You see? So when the Europeans summon you within 24 hours and you and shove a statement into your face and say that there's not going to be there's going to be sanctions, no trade is going to be flowing, no flying zone is going to be maintained, activated. They're forgetting that there's a belt. These young boys have created a belt. Look at the belt. You see Africa. See. This is Angola. See the Gulf of Biafra or Gulf of Guinea. You see the West Africa. You see, these boys have created a belt engulfing stretching the whole length of West Africa. They have taken the 50% or more than 50% landmass. The rest of you are over here in the south, in the little corner over here, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin. The only bigger one is Nigeria amongst you. These people have taken more than 50% landmass from you. And you say what? You've been defeated already. I'm analyzing what the analysts are not telling you, so don't come for me. Buhari made it on the time he was elected. Buhari, the former president of Nigeria, said that there's a foreign hand in Boko Haram. But since then, he never elaborated, and fools who were at the time journalists around him, who he met, could not even ask President Buhari, would you please elaborate? They keep quiet. The man knew something, but you journalists have to probe him to say, President, sir, Alhaji, sir, would you elaborate on what you know about this foreign hand? But he keep it quiet, and he's going to die with it. It's on record. You see, it's on record. It's on record. Buhari said it. The very first 3 months that he came to power, he said it. You see? So this young generation of soldiers are not ready. They swear an oath to protect the integrity of their land against any foreign aggression. They're not gonna. They are soldiers. And they have taken a birth. More than 50% of West Africa land is in their hand. And you say you're gonna do what? You're not gonna find a way to trade. The seaport is here in Guinea. And you're gonna what? Activate no flying zone. If they are flying over here, what force do you have? They fly over here through Guinea to Mali, to Burkina, to Niger. What do you have to do? You're gonna be bombing Niger. You're gonna be bombing when the flight is coming from it's a flight from in Burkina Faso going to Mali, through Mali to Niger. You're gonna be bombing. Burkina Faso share a border with Niger. Yeah. And Mali also share a border with Niger. And Mali share a border with Guinea. So when a flight is flying from Guinea through Mali into Niger, you're going to bomb it? That's what the young boys come together and say, if you ever try your bullshit concorded for you by your slave masters in Europe, you're going to hear from us. I'm not the one speaking. I'm just analyzing what the analysts are not telling you. Don't come for me. They say wisdom is like a baobab tree. Nunya ajidu ashira kamusunu. You see, nunya ajidoi amarakapa shimo sunu. One person cannot encompass, cannot wrap around the baobab tree. You need about 20 people to hold hands, to circumference, to go around the baobab tree. I alone cannot. The baobab tree is not banana tree, it's not coconut tree. Okay. So while certain things are in your blind side, it is my duty, the way I also see fit, to bring it out to you. Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, and now Niger have taken over 60% of the landmass in West Africa. The war is over.